What's happening, everybody? Good morning. Good morning to you. It is Wednesday, July 15th, 2020. And this morning, we're going to talk about principles, living by principles, not by your feelings. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life. And then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right. What's going on this morning, guys? Good morning to you. Let's see who's on here already. Mr. Judson Burden is on here. My phone is freezing. I hope this isn't freezing for everybody else. But on the stream that I'm looking at, okay, it's back. It's good. It's good. It's good. So I've been up a long time this morning. I got up super early this morning and I got a workout in and I started reading my book, my latest book that I'm reading, Chop Wood, Carry Water. Actually finished that book this morning. And there is some nuggets from a chapter in this book that, man, I was reading it and I'm like, man, I gotta share this with everybody because this is some serious stuff right here. So I'm gonna go through and share some of this stuff with you guys this morning. And I want to just start with some of the notes that I took from reading this chapter in this book. And the first thing that it says about principles instead of feelings, it says this. It says happiness is easy and me focused. Fulfillment is hard and others focused. And that kind of stood out to me, man. It was like, wow, there's some super impactful statements in this chapter in this book, and I'm going to read some of them to you, and we're going to talk about some real life examples of, kind of how this stuff plays out when you see people living by principles instead of feelings, or the opposite, when people live by their feelings instead of principles. What I wrote down this morning is living your life by your feelings. It just never works out well for anybody, right? Living your life by principles, it may be tougher day to day. It may be tougher in the short term, but over a period of years, over an extended period of time, it's the only way. Living by principles will create an incredibly fulfilled and successful life. And you will feel very, very good about how you're living, about how calm you can stay under pressure, about when things happen to you, not necessarily always feeling the need to react to things, living by principles instead of feelings. There's a quote here that's in this book. It says, at the end of your feelings is nothing, but at the end of every principle is a promise. That's a quote by Eric Thomas. I want to jump into something else here, but first I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening, Judd? Good morning to you, my brother. Bruce Pulver, Tammy Clark, good morning. Luke, Carla, Mr. Calloway, always good to see you, man. Jared Bird, good morning. Ryan Austin, good morning to you, brother. I'll be calling you today, man. We got to catch up on something. Julio, good morning to you. Steve Johnson, good morning. Mike Rosgoni and Chelsea, good morning to you. Thank you guys for being here. If you could share this out, I think this message will impact some people in your life. And if you impact those people, they might impact somebody else. And eventually we might just make this world a little bit better place. So here's a couple more things that it says in this book. I'm going to read a chapter and then I'm going to read a little passage here to you guys. Living by feelings is never going to work out well for anyone because feelings change. Sometimes we simply wake up and we feel differently. Sometimes someone does something to make us feel differently. Living by our feelings is like riding an emotional roller coaster. When you make the choice to live by a certain set of principles, it will not only protect you from your feelings, it will allow you to step in to your greatest potential. And I could not agree with that statement more. It is such an impactful thing to understand that you're not always going to wake up and feel great. There are days that I wake up and I don't feel like it. I don't feel like doing any of the things that I have to do that day. But by my principles, I am still going to walk through that day. I'm still going to do the things that are required of me. And what I find is this: an hour into that day that started not so good, that started off me not feeling like it, most of the time, an hour or 2 hours into that day, as I get productive, as things start to click off, as I start to accomplish things, doesn't feel so bad anymore. Ever have that happen to you? You get into the day and it feels completely different. There are mornings that I get up now and I don't feel like going outside to work out. I don't feel like going for a run. I don't feel like moving. But as I walk out my front door and I get 50 feet, I get to the bottom of the hill, all of a sudden I start to feel like, man, I might as well, while I'm out here, I might as well start running. Next thing you know, 45 minutes have gone by. I feel good. I got a good sweat on and I start my day and everything falls into place. It is living by your principles, living by the things that you say as opposed to the way that you feel. I believe it is my friend Carl says that the way that you feel in this moment has nothing to do with the way that you will feel in the next moment. It can change in an instant. They are not connected. Here's the rest of that passage. Many days you aren't going to feel like it. Many days you're not going to feel like working out and honing your craft. Many days you aren't going to feel like treating people really well. Many days you aren't going to feel like being unconditionally grateful. Many days you aren't going to feel like giving your very best. But the principle says you're going to reap what you sow. The principle says that diligent workers are going to serve kings instead of ordinary men. The principle says to turn the other cheek. The principle says to seek wise counsel. And the principle says to speak life, not death. At the end of principles, there is life, freedom, hope, joy, and peace. The most you can expect from feelings is happiness. But like every other feeling, happiness doesn't last. Listen to this part. That's exactly why trillion-dollar industries try to keep you chasing it, because it is perpetually unavailable. Happiness. If you want to stay on the happiness train, you must keep coming back to make more purchases. Try to get another hit of that feeling. A new pair of sneakers, another new car, a new iPhone. It is a never satisfied pit of desire. And if you spend your whole life chasing that fleeting, temporary feeling of happiness, you will miss out on what you really want: fulfillment. If I'm telling you guys, get this book. Get this book. I keep saying it. I post it everywhere. I hope that people pick it up. These guys are the books that our children need to read. These are the books that, as our young adults get into this world that we live in that is so crazy and mixed up and pointing people in strange directions and trying to make people chase things that aren't achievable, trying to make you believe that by owning something that somehow your life will matter. Principles are what it's all about, guys. It is not about your feelings. If we only did the things that we feel like doing, and nobody ever lived by a set of principles, you would not see anything in the world that you see. And as we see people in the world, as we see the world going astray, it's all because people are doing things by their feelings. They're doing things for greed. They're doing things for all the wrong reasons, and they are not living by a set of principles and that inner compass that I always talk about. Anytime you see that, guys, you see people living by feelings, people that are online trying to sell you stuff. They're trying to generate feelings that make you purchase. They are not building a company based on principles that will serve people over the long term. That's the difference. And ask yourself, who do you want to be? Do you want to be a person that rides the roller coaster up and down, based on your feelings, based on your reactions? Feelings trigger reactions. Principles trigger thought. There's a big difference between those two. If you only react based on your feelings, you'll make a lot of mistakes in this life. And you will be, if you are a person that is willing to apologize, probably using those words quite frequently, because your feelings will always misguide you. But your principles will always send you to the promised land. So I want you guys to think about that. What are the principles that you want to live by? As for those of you who are joining us on the 90 Days of Hard Discipline, it's going to take some principles to make it through for those who finish. Because your feelings are going to tell you to quit about 1,000 times. So think about that. What is it that you want to live by? What is it that you want your company to stand for? What is it that you want your life to be identified by? Is it reactions based on the way that you feel? Or is it that you lived a life based on principles that you can be proud of? And whenever things get crazy, it is those principles that will guide you through. And so I encourage you guys to think about that. I encourage you first and foremost to buy that book and read it, because that is just one small piece of the lessons that are in that book. And so many people in today's world aren't taught the lessons that are in this book. And I believe that as we teach our youth the right lessons and the right perspective, that the world's going to change. Person by person, brick by brick, we can make this world a better place. We can encourage people to live by principles and to stop reacting to every single thing that happens in their life. Think about it. What do you want to live for? What do you want to stand for? You want to stand for your feelings? You want to stand for how you react when somebody does something to you? Or do you want to stand on a set of principles that will guide you to a life that you can look back and be proud of, and a legacy that you can stand firm on? Think about it as you go into this Wednesday. Take the time today, tomorrow, this week, to write down, what is it that you want to stand for? What are those values and principles that mean something to you? Long, hard look in the mirror, right? Principles instead of feelings. So many people, we all do it. By the way, everybody has a reaction to feelings. But the more, if you can get it to 90-10, 95-5, 80-20, instead of 70-30 reacting to your feelings, you're going to see a big, big, big difference in your life. Believe me. You can see people that react to feelings, right? It's all the time, man. All the time. You can see it online. You see people that engage. You try to offer some different perspective on a post and a bunch of people start attacking you, right? How do you react? Remove yourself and live by your principles? Or do you get all up in your feelings? Start trying to convince people that can't be convinced of something that they will never believe if you told them the sky was blue. It doesn't matter. How do you live? And what do you do? Think about it, guys. I hope this message was helpful to you guys. If it was, please do me a favor and share this to your page. Share this to a group maybe that you're part of. Christine, I definitely will add you to the group. You could search it out. It's 90 Days of Hard Discipline with Brian Hess. It's just, you could just type it in the browser and you'll be able to find it and just request to get in. But I'll invite you later today if you don't find it there. But awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys being here this morning. If you found this message valuable, please share it out, because I think a lot of people need to hear this message. And I think a lot of people need to read that book. So that's it, guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning, same place, same time. I have a different message. We're going to start talking about, we're kicking off 90 Days of Hard Discipline on Friday, man. I've been working out for a couple of days here. I already feel great. Been drinking a gallon of water, reading my 10 pages, taking a progress picture. I almost forgot the progress picture last night. I got everything done so early that I almost went to bed and didn't take it. So you got to be careful or you'll miss it. Got out of bed at literally midnight to go step in front of the mirror and take my picture. Good stuff to get on my sneakers and run into better, higher principles. Yes, sir, brother. Always in his grip, my man. Amen. Amen. I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday. You get one July 15th, 2020 to live. Make it a good one, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow morning right here on Morning Perspective, 7:30 a.m., same place, same time. Love you guys.